From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Canada's Competition Bureau has launched a probe into the parent companies of grocery chains Loblaws and Sobeys. Allegations of anti-competitive conduct triggered the investigations. In federal court documents, the Commissioner of Competition suggested that the firm's use of so-called property controls actually limits retail grocery competition. Sobeys' owner responded by calling the inquiry unlawful. Canada's major grocers have recently been under public and political pressure as food prices have risen by double digits over just a handful of years. A deportation hearing for the truck driver who caused the deadly Humboldt Broncos bus crash 6 years ago is set for today.
Lawyer Michael Green says there's no doubt his client will be ordered deported, since all the Immigration Board has to determine is that he isn't a Canadian citizen and was convicted of a serious crime. Jaskarat Singh Sidhu was sentenced to 8 years in prison after pleading guilty to causing the crash in Saskatchewan that killed 16 people and injured 13 others. Green says there's just one move left.
I can ask them to give them back his status on humanitarian grounds.
Green says it could take months or years before the matter is dealt with. Bill Graveland, The Canadian Press, Calgary.
The remains of an unknown Newfoundland soldier who died in France during the First World War are expected to arrive in St. John's tomorrow. Preparations are being made for a solemn reburial ceremony. Newfoundland MP Seamus O'Regan is in northern France with delegations from the provincial and federal governments. He says the repatriation has taken years to organize.
Now we are in a position where we can bring home an unknown soldier, and that's very, very meaningful. So we will be repatriating those remains on Saturday.
This year marks the 100th anniversary of the Newfoundland National War Memorial in downtown St. John's. That's where the unknown soldier's remains will be placed in a black granite tomb on July 1st, which is Memorial Day in Newfoundland and Labrador. Israel's army says the bodies of 3 more hostages killed on October 7th were recovered overnight from Gaza.
The bodies of Hanan Yablonka, Michel Nissenbaum, and Orion Hernandez were found and their families had been notified. The army says they were killed on the day of the attack at the Methel Sim intersection and their bodies taken to Gaza. The announcement comes less than a week after the army said it found the bodies of 3 other Israeli hostages killed on October 7. Israel says around 100 hostages are still captive in Gaza, along with the bodies of around 30 more. I'm Charles de la Tasma.
And finally, more than 100 people are believed to have been killed in a Friday morning landslide that buried a village in a remote mountainous part of Papua New Guinea. An emergency response is underway, with the expectation that more dead will be uncovered. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Edmonton Oilers defeated the Dallas Stars 3-2 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Oilers captain Connor McDavid scored 32 seconds into double overtime to draw first blood. Over to the NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics beat the Indiana Pacers 126-110, taking a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston's Jaylen Brown matched his career playoff high with 40 points. Over to the WNBA now, the Phoenix Mercury beat the Washington Mystics 83-80 for their 3rd win in a row. Washington, however, has lost 5 consecutive games to open the season for the first time since 2007. Elsewhere, the Connecticut Sun ran their season-opening winning streak to 4 games, overcoming an early 13-point deficit to beat the Minnesota Lynx 83-82. And finally, a report out there says the Las Vegas Raiders are rewarding Star Pass rusher Max Crosby with a raise, $6 million U.S. this season and $1.2 million next year. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.